Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the program. It's Tuesday, December 22nd, coming to you live from our studio in Seoul. I'm Kim Mo-kyun. Before we get started, these are the stories we're following at the top of the hour. South Korea reports 869 new COVID-19 infections Tuesday. Authorities once again announced strengthened quarantine measures, including a temporary ban on the operation of ski resorts and famous tourist spots. President Moon Jae-in will meet with the heads of the National Assembly, Supreme Court, Constitutional Court, the National Election Commission, and the Prime Minister to discuss state affairs and particularly on ways to tackle the COVID-19 pandemic. And the EU has approved the use of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine, paving the way for a mass vaccination rollout. Meanwhile, U.S. President-elect Joe Biden and his First Lady got vaccinated live on TV. We start with grim COVID-19 news here in South Korea. It seems as if the latest surge in coronavirus infections is refusing to retreat, with South Korea reporting another triple-digit number of new cases. For more details, our reporter Kim Yeon-seung is on the line for us. Yeon-seung, what can you tell us about the latest COVID-19 situation in South Korea?
Hi, Mo-kyun. Tuesday's COVID-19 numbers just came in, and it's not looking pretty. South Korea reported 869 new infections, 824 of which were domestically transmitted. The Greater Seoul area is now 2 weeks into the raised level 2.5 measures, but there still aren't any signs of a notable reduction in infections. With Christmas just 3 days away, health authorities are growing more and more concerned that the end-of-the-year festivities are going to spark another outbreak. To prevent that from happening, health authorities are also enforcing what they are calling the pinset, or tweezers disease prevention, meaning that the new measures will hone in on facilities and events that might serve as a hotbed for the virus. Seoul Metropolitan Government said on Monday that they will ban private gatherings made up of 5 or more people. Also, Prime Minister Chung Se-kyun announced on Tuesday that under this new measure, ski resorts and famous tourist spots will close down temporarily. High-risk facilities such as nursing homes and mental care hospitals will have to restrict visitors, and workers in those facilities are banned from joining private gatherings. All this will last until January 3rd next year. Back to you, Mo-kyun.
Thank you for that, Yeon-seung. We appreciate it. Now, President Moon Jae-in is meeting at the Blue House on Tuesday morning with representatives of 5 key offices of power. He will meet Prime Minister Chung Se-kyun, National Assembly Speaker Park Byung-seok, the Chief Justice Kim Myung-soo, Constitutional Court President Yoon Nam-seok, and the Chair of the National Election Commission, No Jung-hee. They're expected to discuss ways to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic and share opinions on state affairs. This is the first meeting of its kind since the inauguration of No early last month. As President-elect Joe Biden received the first dose of his COVID-19 vaccination in front of the watching media, the U.S. added a second vaccine developed by Moderna to its arsenal to fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. Our Kim Hyo-san reports.
U.S. President-elect Joe Biden and his wife Jill Biden on Monday received their first doses of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine live on TV.
And one of the things is that I think that the administration deserves some credit getting this off the ground with Operation Warp Speed. And I also think that it's worth saying that there's great hope. I'm doing this to demonstrate that people should be prepared when it's available to take the vaccine. There's nothing to worry about.
Their vaccination came on the same day as the country's rollout of Moderna's COVID-19 vaccines. A nurse who received the Moderna vaccine at a hospital in Connecticut said she volunteered to be vaccinated to help reassure others.
It's important to me because I feel like there's a lot of hesitancy in my community about getting this vaccine. And I want people to feel comfortable getting the vaccine, knowing that it is okay. This vaccine is safe.
This follows the U.S. FDA's emergency approval late last Friday, becoming the first country to give a green light to Moderna's vaccine. It also comes exactly a week after the U.S. began administering the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. Initial inoculations will be provided to healthcare providers, as well as care home residents and staff. During a news briefing Monday, U.S. officials stressed that more vaccines will be distributed going forward, significantly widening the initial push to immunize Americans.
As the Secretary highlighted, for Moderna, the 5.9 million that's going out to over 3,400 locations, and then the additional 2.1 million for Pfizer going out to another 1,000 locations. So over 4,000 locations will be receiving vaccines between today and tomorrow.
America's vaccination plan comes amid fast spread of the virus throughout the country, infecting nearly 18 million people so far. Kim Yo-sun, Arirang News.
The EU has approved the use of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine, paving the way for a mass vaccination rollout. With fears over the spread of a new variant of the virus discovered in the UK, experts say the current vaccines still work against the new strain. And despite that, more than 40 countries have now banned arrivals from the UK. Our Lee Seung-jae has more.
The European Union on Monday approved use of the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine, finalizing the recommendation of the EU drugs regulator, who earlier in the day granted a conditional marketing authorization. The head of the European Commission confirmed the authorization and called it an important chapter in the fight against the pandemic.
Today we add an important chapter in our fight against COVID-19. We took the decision to make available for European citizens the first COVID-19 vaccine. We granted conditional market authorization to the vaccine produced by BioNTech and Pfizer.
She added that the first batches would be shipped from Pfizer's manufacturing site in Belgium in the coming days, with vaccinations to begin on Sunday. As previously announced, the vaccines will be available for all EU countries at the same time. As for Moderna's vaccine, opinion on that will be issued on January 6th. With fear over a new strain of the COVID-19 virus out of Britain, German Health Minister Jens Spahn insisted the approved Pfizer vaccine is still effective against the new variant. More than 40 countries have now banned arrivals from the UK over fears the new strain will spread to their countries. This includes flights to Canada, India, and Spain. The state of New York has also banned all UK arrival flights. France has shut its borders to the UK for 48 hours, meaning no lorries or ferries can leave from the port of Dover. The new strain in the UK is said to be up to 70% more transmissible than the current strain, but there's no evidence it's more deadly. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
The SsangYong Motor Company has filed for court receivership after failing to pay over $100 million worth of debts. This is the ailing company's second time placing itself in this position after going through the same process 11 years ago. Over the next 3 months, the company will follow an autonomous restructuring support program. Our Choi Min-jung has this story.
SsangYong Motor Company filed for receivership on Monday as it grappled with paying outstanding debts. This is the company's second time placing itself in this position after going through the same process 11 years ago. The latest filing comes as the South Korean affiliate of Mahindra & Mahindra, an Indian carmaker, failed to pay a total debt of 150 billion won, equal to some $135 million US. According to a company statement, the decision to file receivership was inevitable, with current debts deemed to be having grave impact on its businesses during the pandemic. The motor company currently owes $54 million to its foreign financial creditors and another $81 million to the Korea Development Bank, its main creditor. The move, for the most part, was as a result of Mahindra's decision to inject a one-time payment of $36 million over the next 3 months, instead of its original plans to pump over $200 million into the company over the next 3 years. This comes after its board voted against that investment due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Prior to entering receivership, the company will follow an autonomous restructuring support program for the next 3 months. Under the ARS, SsangYong will be able to continue operations until court-led restructuring begins. During this period, the company is also set to look for a new investor, as Mahindra is willing to give up its title as the largest shareholder. On top of the massive debt burden, sales over the past 11 months for its South Korean units dropped 19% on year. From January to November, some 96,000 vehicles were sold, fewer than the 119,000 sold last year. Choi Min-jung, Arirang News.
As vaccinations are starting to take place in the world's major economies, there's rising optimism the global economy and societies everywhere may start to see a return to normalcy once enough people get the shot. But as infections continue hitting record highs around the world, the OECD Secretary General tells Arirang News that the world won't be out of the woods in 2021. Here's the first part of our Oh Soo-young's exclusive interview.
It will take more than a shot in the arm to end the economic fallout of the COVID-19 pandemic. That's according to Secretary General Angel Gurria in an exclusive interview with Arirang News, warning that no country is safe from the harrowing impact of the second and third waves, even as vaccinations begin in major economies.
The reality in the ground today is telling a terrible story, and which means we are planning for 2021 to be a year in which we learn to live with the virus, learn to stop the virus, to avoid the virus until everybody is vaccinated, or 50, 70% of the population is vaccinated towards the end of the year. And then I think we will feel safer. But 2021 is going to be a very difficult year, both from the health side but also from the economic side, because the recovery is going to go into 2021 weaker, actually with a downside curve rather than with an upside slope, because we are having this second or third wave. There are some countries like Korea, and I say this with great satisfaction and great pride because Korea is a member of the OECD. You have been able to use technology better, but still there isn't any guarantee in terms of the impact. The same thing with Japan.
Gurria said the vaccine cannot inoculate societies against mass unemployment, small businesses going bust, and rapid digitalization of jobs on an unprecedented scale.
We have very serious impact on millions of small and medium enterprises. And we also have very serious impact on millions, tens of millions of jobs. And of course, the social scarring, the problem of skills, the people who are leaving the job market, who is going to be very difficult to catch up. All those are legacies of the pandemic, and they will continue to be with us after the pandemic is gone, after we have found a vaccine, and even after most of the people have been vaccinated.
He emphasised the need to continue bolstering public health measures and targeted support to minimise social scars and prepare for a strong, sustainable recovery. Amid concerns that fiscal stimulus will ramp up government debt to record levels, the Secretary-General said this is not the time for austerity.
We have to learn from our mistakes, because I think we went into austerity and we started consolidating the public finance too soon in 2008, 2009, and then we suffered many consequences later. So I think we have to learn, in this case, now with the pandemic, we need to learn that we have to continue supporting with budget. Sometimes, yes, with deficits, with debt, yes, but this is a lower cost in the end than if we let the pandemic just go by its own way. We have to kill the pandemic.
The OECD has called on governments to build inclusiveness and sustainability into their economic recovery plans, tackling challenges like inequality, climate change, digitalization, and the future of jobs to build back better for generations to come. Oh Soo-young, Arirang News.
Good morning. The early hours have been much more bearable than the last few days. In fact, readings will be on the mild side through Wednesday, staying way above the seasonal norms. So top readings this afternoon will be 1 to 4 degrees higher, getting up to 7 degrees Celsius here in the capital. And more sunshine will be joined as the day goes on today in most parts. And as milder air surges in, dust levels in the west and Daegu could rise, so we'll need a face mask that can actually block the ultrafine dust. While the East Coast is still under dry weather alerts. That's Korea for you, and here's a look at the weather conditions around the world.
And that's a wrap-up for us at the hour on Arirang News. We'll be back with more of the day's headlines at noon Korea time, so stay tuned. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.
Following the